This is the College Algebra Lesson 3 demo. Finding x and y intercepts of a graph. So the x-intercepts of a graph are places where the graph crosses or intercepts the x-axis. Similarly, the y-intercepts of a graph are the places where the graph crosses or intercepts the y-axis. So I want to write the coordinates of the x and y intercepts from our preview exercise y equals 4 minus x squared. So x-intercepts from the graph we looked at earlier were positive and negative 2. And the y-intercept is the place where it crosses the y-axis, which was at 4. So y equals 4. Okay, so note that they asked for coordinates. That means x comma y. So if you're doing a question where they ask for the coordinates of some kind of special point in my lab, you need to give an x and a y. The answer for this is actually 2 comma 0 and negative 2 comma 0. And then the y coordinate is going to be 0 comma 4. Okay, so how could we have found these points algebraically if we had not looked at a graph in the preview exercises? So to find x-intercepts algebraically, you set the equation equal to 0. Set y equal to 0. So we would have 0 equals 4 minus x squared, and then we solve from there. So we would have x squared equals 4, which tells us that x equals plus or minus 2. And to find y-intercepts, we're looking for places where the graph crosses the y-axis, which means that the x-coordinate is 0. Anytime you're on the y-axis, the x-coordinate is 0. So we set x equal to 0. Okay, and so we have y equals 4 minus 0 squared, which means y equals 4. So a little intro to graphing utilities that will be used in this course. Although the packets and corresponding videos often mention TI graphing calculators and or algebra, you can use the technology of your choice. Other options might include the Calculate 84 app or Desmos, or if there's something else you've used, you're welcome to use that. So for a graphing calculator, you are not required to own one, but we'll use them in class from time to time. And when that happens, I'll give you instructions on how to use it. But in general, to use a graphing calculator, to graph an equation, you press the y equals button, you enter the equation into y1, and then you press the graph button. And sometimes you might need to change the viewing window or the rectangle so that you can see the graph. You press the window button, and you enter values for x min, x max, y min, and y max. I typically leave the scales at 1. A shortcut for getting the standard window, which means x min and x max are negative 10, y min and y max are negative 10, is to press the zoom button and then choose option 6, z standard. So note that this notation, which your homework will often reference, means x min, comma x max, comma x scale by y min, comma y max, comma y scale. So this is telling you that the x values are going from negative 10 to 10, and then the y values are going from negative 10 to 10. So if I were to sketch this rectangle, I would say, okay, x goes from negative 10 to 10, y goes from negative 10 to 10, and then the scale is 1. We also use GeoGebra sometimes in the class. So this is a free downloadable software. And if you want to graph an equation in there, you just type in the input box the equation you want. So you would just type with your keyboard y equals 4 minus x, and then you use this little caret for squared, 2. The caret is shift 6, so it's the number 6, but you do the shift. And then you press enter. You change the window. You don't have to enter it manually like you do for a graphing calculator. You can just click the little move button, and then you can either grab an axis or grab the graph itself and drag. I will make a couple of separate videos, one for graphing in the graphing calculator and one for graphing in GeoGebra.